Brickmaniacs! It's time for another episode of Brickmania TV. And there's a cool intro. Today on Brickmania TV, I don't know how to pronounce this thing. Dan does.
It's the M1917 155mm howitzer, but it is actually French, and I am not going to butcher the French. The poor man who designed this thing. Sorry, I'm not going to say it because somebody in France will be terribly offended, and I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to cause another world war.
Okay. No. Did we fight them?
No.
I don't know about that. All right. World War I.
Right.
French.
So this is a 155, basically a 6-inch howitzer.
Yes.
Or not even a howitzer. This is a cannon. This is a long rifled
Look at this thing.
gun. It's huge.
It's massive.
So it's basically long-range artillery, the French metric equivalent of the 6-inch howitzer.
Yep.
So this is like some pretty fancy state-of-the-art stuff. This was designed in 1916, fielded in 1917. In fact, the Americans used the same gun. They copied it from the French, and it's actually the M1918. The M1917 being the French-built version, M1918 being the American copy, but which actually was used in World War II as well by the Americans. Actually used by Germans and French. So
right. Everybody was just using this thing.
Right. It was such a good gun. Well, these were captured. You know, when France surrendered in World War II, their guns fell into German hands, and those guns were actually defending the beaches of Normandy when the Americans and the British and the Canadians landed.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
It's a very historic weapon here.
Right, and we've made this in the original configuration. So as you can see, it's a very long weapon. This is a long-range artillery. It's a cannon.
Right.
And it can shoot a shell farther than I can throw something. Much farther. Miles, like 8 miles or something.
You can throw a few miles.
No, I can't. No. Uncle Rico can.
Uncle Rico.
He's not here. I'm not Uncle Rico.
So, what else? Any other?
Well, I'll show you. This it's pretty. One of the things that's state of the art of this thing. It has a full recoil.
Yep.
So when it shoots, it actually recoils. But the way the carriage is, they actually have to dig a pit underneath this. They made a mount for this, like a shore battery mount, where this sits on a pedestal. They could actually rotate this all the way around a pit, so that when it fires, it recoils down the pit. Some cool things about the kit version of it. I mean, other state of the art, the split tails. That was that was like way ahead of its time.
So was this one of the first field cannons to do a split tail like that?
Yeah, exactly. If you look at like all the other World War I cannons that we have, it has a single piece tail. Right. This design was meant so that it could be emplaced. It could traverse really far. They would, in the olden days, they'd have to like pick up the tail and move it. This time they have it actually has a traverse, so it can swivel on its base, and the guys can be in between the legs. But another thing, when they emplace it, they actually have to undig it out of the ground. Right. But that's only if you have to turn it more than a certain 25 degrees or something in a direction. Why don't you talk about the figures, and I'll put this thing together just with the travel mode.
Sure. All right, so these are just two guys here. They're basically the French Riflemen, which, is that for sale right now? Was that for sale?
Yes.
So they're the French Riflemen, except I've removed the pouches. So these are just a standard infantry here, wearing their horizon blue uniform here. With the leg wraps and the helmets. This is a unique printing to this. This is a kit exclusive print right now. There's a texture on the helmets, and that's just 2 Lego crossed cannons. The real design is a bit more elaborate. I've simplified it a bit for the purposes of keeping it in the Lego realm, I guess.
Lego tradition.
Texture printed helmet strap across the top, and everybody's favorite texture printed mustaches.
Everybody's favorite. Yes.
Not everybody.
It's my favorite.
My favorite. I think people like the mustache.
I think so too. It's awesome.
They're cool. And with that,
yeah, I'm just about ready.
The figures too.
So they designed this thing to travel. Obviously, if you have a cannon, you can't just like leave it in your backyard. You got to bring it to the enemy, or close enough to the enemy where you can shoot them. Hopefully, they're not in your backyard. So basically, they were told this thing back in World War I. Yeah. It was customary to tow your cannons into place with horses. Yeah. And they were just starting to get into machine age, so this was designed to be actually towed by horses or a tractor. So I was looking it up. I was doing some research, and actually the tractors they used were American tractors, Holt Corporation, which turned into Caterpillar. And
oh wow.
Yeah. So
that's some history there.
At some point, maybe I'll make this the Holt tractor that actually pulls
really
this.
Cool.
I don't know if anybody actually wants to do a scene with the tractor, but it's cool. We were looking it up. It's a really cool vehicle. So
you can sit here backwards in the chair and fire it forwards.
No, you don't fire for this. So the reason they put a guy, they have a chair here.
It's the first tank right here.
So back in the days of horses, everything was manual. They didn't have hydraulics or electric. So you had this behind a horse, and you're going down a hill. Say you don't want your artillery piece overrunning your horses that are pulling it. So you have a brake, handbrake.
Handbrake, front wheels, back wheels, or
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it was enough to brake this thing, so it wouldn't just keep rolling.
That makes sense.
You definitely don't want to roll over anybody or anything. So I did some research on this, and they did have this sort of wheel with a pad on it, so the thing wouldn't sink into the mud. So this isn't just trying to make a big fat wheel. They actually had this. It was like a track that went
kind of like
a
tank tread wrapped around a wagon wheel.
It's to keep it from sinking into the mud, because the conditions in the battlefield that turned out to be really muddy and not ideal for wheeled vehicles or anything like that. So this is a nice price. You get the gun, you get a couple of guys, some really unique features. The guys are really fully printed, premium figures. So if you're looking for something a little bit more detailed than your average kit, this is it. But it still has a pretty decent price.
This is it. I know you talked a little bit about the build features on this kit. Are there any other build features, some unique techniques that maybe you've used?
Well, you can slide the.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. You can slide. This is like the recoil.
So when when it's in the ready to fire position, it'll be forward. When it fires, of course, it'll be in full recoil. Another cool thing I did is I actually made it so the breech opens.
Right, there we go.
You can open the breech.
That's cool. Any shells fit in there?
I think it's actually flipped over on the wrong side.
So.
No, but you can flip it around. So.
There we go. Now it's historically accurate.
Well, if it does go the other way. Left, right. Somebody will tell us, I'm sure, because
You can flip the video around.
Yeah, flip the video. Watch the video in a mirror. It'll say, "I'm a brick." Wait, Erp. Erp. All right, well, so that's it. That's the cool kit of the week. There's tons and tons of other cool stuff coming out. Check the website, check the store, check your local Brickmania store for awesome, cool things this week.
Absolutely. Be sure to also like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for a chance to win awesome prizes down the road. And also be sure to use that hashtag Great War Bricks. Just post up a cool picture somewhere and we'll see it. Right?
Instagram. Twitter and Facebook. Tag us in those, and we may pick you as a lucky winner of some cool stuff.
Absolutely. Cool. That's the episode. For more information, brickmania.com.